If you want to learn something about God, shut your mouth and listen to me for a minute.
Many children healed. We've seen midgets grow. We've seen arms and legs that stop growing because the growth cells had stopped. Mandadabasata. I don't make this stuff up.
Behold, the atheist's nightmare.
That's the power of the Holy Ghost!
Why do they teach every other theory in science except creation?
Warlocks are enemies of God.
No one's ever going to convince me that the Word of God is not true.
You know, if you put Jesus Christ first, that he'll look after all your bills.
And so the devil said, okay, it's a deal.
And if you want to tell me how to live my life, it better line up with the Word of God or shut your mouth.
I'm loaded. I'm pregnant with miracles.
What do you believe?
Send us the cash.
Welcome to the Bible Dumb Podcast. This is the podcast where two atheist ding-dongs read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. I am Davy Hell.
I'm Jessie Hell.
Welcome, everybody.
Hey.
Sorry, I got pretty amped up listening to our theme song.
Got a little out of control.
I like to dance to it. It's a good one. All right, well, we are back to record again. It's another beautiful week in Bible land. And today we have a letter from hell.
All right.
Yeah. Vegan legend Carrie wrote in to tell us about her religious experience. I may have asked everybody hey, tell me about your experiences with the religion. And she actually did. So thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie.
Right.
Do we know where she's from?
Yeah, she lives in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You ever been to Australia?
No.
Do you ever want to go?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. I think it'd be really cool. We've talked before about leaving the United States and trying to find another place to live that's maybe cooler, but not cooler temperature, but just,
Cooler human rights wise.
Cooler with the whole human rights thing, the old healthcare stuff. But, since we only know English, that kind of limits our options.
You could
learn. Yeah, I could.
You could.
Well, yeah, Australia would be a cool place to check out. I don't know much about it, but I'd like to visit sometime. All right, so Carrie writes us from hell and says, my mother was raised in England as a member of the Church of England. My father was Jewish until he escaped with his family from post-war Nazi-occupied Hungary at 4 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, that's serious business.
Mm.
My grandmother had a picture of the Pope on her wall because she escaped the Nazis and didn't think being openly Jewish was very wise. That sucks. It just sucks that somebody feels that they have to, I don't know, put up a religious figure that they don't believe in just to not be targeted.
Yeah.
It's like me at work. Walking around pretending I agree with everybody there. Except, they had it much worse.
A million times worse.
See, my granny would threaten me with the Pope, who was raising his hand in a wave, but she told me he was going to smack me if I didn't behave. She also made chicken noodle soup with ants in it. Gross. She said, it's herbs, darling. Oh, wait, I don't know. How do you do an Australian accent? How do you do a Jewish Hungarian Australian accent? Shrimp on the barbie, It's herbs, darling. It's herbs, darling. She would shout in a thick Hungarian accent. Oh, Hungarian. I don't have a Hungarian accent.
No.
Herbs. Did I say herbs or herbs?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm starting over. I'm cutting this.
That's a good idea.
It's herbs, darling, she would shout in a thick Hungarian accent. Herbs! As I watched their little legs swimming frantically through scalding soup. Just herbs. That's weird. My father was sort of Catholic, I guess. But what am I asked one day after a Baptist nun had thrown a wooden chalkboard duster at my head. That's a story I want to hear in more detail.
Yeah.
But I've heard that's like,
Pretty common, yeah.
yeah, both in Baptist and Catholic schools.
Kind of get swatted all the time.
Yeah, corporal punishment.
Mm-hmm.
You can be anything you like, said my mother, who was way beyond her years. We went to a huge school with loads of different faith religious classes. In the name of freedom, my mother saw fit to have me confused in one class for a term, then move to a different religion for the next term, so I could have the benefit of a wide range of confusion. I didn't know their stories. I didn't know who Jesus was. I really didn't care. Yeah, that would definitely be confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like mentioning any other religion was a fast track to being punished. Not understanding there was more than one Mary got me in a lot of trouble. I'm still not sure.
What?
I don't know. See, we don't have that here in Texas. Like, there's pretty much, like, even though there's lots of different denominations, like, I feel like they're all pretty much the same brand of Southern.
Yeah, at least here.
Yeah. So she says, I'm still not sure. Not knowing the reason for Easter was a sin beyond redemption. I quickly concluded these people were best avoided. I'm convinced I am going to hell. We'll see you there, Carrie. Don't worry. I'm just not sure which one, since all the religions seem to have a different hell, and they all claim me as their own future hell patron. So get in line, I guess. At one point in my school life, my mother triumphantly asked which religion I liked best. I felt deeply satisfied to reply, ethics. I liked ethics the best. It didn't occur to my mother that ethics wasn't a religion. It was on the list. It counted. So it was. In ethics class, I read novels, caught up on my homework, relaxed, ate my lunch, read comics, colored in pictures, and never did one single bit of ethics because there was no teacher. That sucks.
That does suck.
I mean, it sounds like you had a badass class, but like, it's really lame that all the religious classes are teaching supernatural nonsense while the ethics class, when they should be teaching ethics, and the ethics class, there's nobody there actually
Yeah.
championing that subject. One year, a hanky head brethren called Jane Patton sat next to me in science for a term. That must be an Australian.
Yeah, I don't know what a hanky head
Yeah, I don't
is.
either. I questioned her until she admitted that I wouldn't be allowed to join her religion because you have to be born or marry into it. I was deeply offended at how exclusionary her God was and how unkind it seemed. She had a subsequent meltdown and was swiftly removed from the class and my presence. Dang. You know, I've always heard that. I mean, I don't know what a brethren or a hanky head is, but if it's a Christian, are you looking it up?
I'll look it up.
Well, anyway,
Keep going.
I've always heard Christianity was supposed to be like inclusive. Like, that's why there's so many street preachers, as they're trying to get more and more people to come join their religion.
Exclusive Brethren.
A
subset of Christian evangelical movement. Oh, they're the ones that wear those little things on their heads. That makes sense.
I have never seen that in my life.
You've never seen that?
It looks like a shower cap.
Well, not the guy, the girl. Look at the girl.
I'm looking at the wrong picture. Let me see. Have me your phone.
Look at the girl with the little
I mean, the bonnet.
Yeah, it's kind of like a half bandana type of.
That's
thing.
like what we saw in Utah when we saw the handmaids.
Yeah.
Are they like super orthodox? Like in crazy?
Yeah, they usually there's a handful of a group of people that live here in this area. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anyone.
See them at work sometimes.
Huh. Well, Carrie says, this seems really boring to me. No one smote me or anything. Well, you got a chalkboard thrown at your head? She said, even Jane Patton's parents, who were convinced I was the spawn of the devil, didn't even give me the side eye. It's just kind of confusing, boring anticlimax of disinterested apathy. I'm listening to the Bible now to find the part where God says we should eat dead animal corpses. But at this point, I really don't trust him. He says whatever is most convenient at the time.
Yeah, he does.
The more I learn, the more confused I become. Yes.
Me too.
Very true. Us too. We're all getting Bible dumb together. So cool. Thanks for writing in. Don't you have a story?
I just had a cousin that my family was very religious, and my mom's side of the family, and
like your
Baptist.
Extended family, not your household.
Exactly, yeah. And I just had a cousin that he was just kind of a crazy, typical ADHD type of kiddo. He just needed to be put in every sport, all sports, energy run out, type of kid.
Yeah.
And and I don't know if like they had corporal punishment in their household or not, but he kind of went just through a phase where he was very kind of aggressive. Just things that were like a little bit more than normal, and I think some things that were on accident. I think he accidentally killed a cat once, but it wasn't like his. He like was just in a fit of rage, and he threw a speaker, and it was one of those old 80 speakers where they were the size of like a 6-year-old.
That's sad, because I'm sure that comes with a lot of guilt and shame.
Oh, absolutely,
too.
yeah. And he's like the calmest guy now. Like he's at least it appears that way. And just my whole family would just all say, he's got the devil in him. He's the devil. He's the devil. And even when I was like in 5th grade, I could just tell like, that's so wrong. Like, I don't even get this whole devil thing, but he's just my cousin. Like, he's a couple years older than me. Like, I don't see that. And it made me lose a lot of respect for my aunts and my grandma and people that said that. Just like, how do you say that about a kid?
What does that do to someone to be told at a young age that they're the devil?
Yeah, because there's no way that he didn't hear that. I mean, maybe he didn't, but I'm pretty sure he did.
I should hope not.
I hope not, but it's disturbing. Anyway, that's my
That's a good one. I think about that sometimes, that story. All right, well, are you ready to do some reading?
Yes.
Get through some more of the Bible. See. Deuteronomy, chapter 10. At that time the Lord said unto me,
Hew thee 2 tables of stone, like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will write on the tables the words that were in the first tables, which thou breakest. And thou shalt put them in the ark.
Oh yeah, so this is when he has to like rewrite the commandments that were given to him by God. So like this is classic, just like I always think about, I think Joseph Smith had to do this too. Like he claimed to have all of these golden tablets he found in his backyard when he was like out digging a hole or some shit. And after he got his tablets, everybody started asking him about them and wanting to see them. He said they were the word of God, and he was like, oh, an angel came and stole them away. I'll have to just write it down now. So then he just wrote down all his stuff. It's the same thing with Moses. He comes down with these stones that he says are the word of God, and then like, oops, they're broken. I'll have to rewrite it in mine own words. Scam. And then now we're in like a some kind of time loop where we're reading about his rereading and retelling of the boards he had to rewrite. And I made an ark of shittim wood, and hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and went up into the mount, having the 2 tables in mine hand. And he wrote on the tables, according to the first writing, the 10 commandments which the Lord spake unto you in the mount, out of the midst of the fire in the sky of the assembly. And the Lord gave them unto me. And I turned myself, and came down from the mount, and put the tables in the ark which I had made. And there they be, as the Lord commanded me. And the children of Israel took their journey from Beeroth of the children of Jachan to Moserah, where Aaron died. And there he was buried. and Eleazar his son ministered in the priest's office in his stead. Do you think they're allowed to take out the 10 Commandments? Like, why are they in this ark? Are they like sealed away where nobody can read them or look at them or inspect them and see that there's like misspellings and shit?
Yeah, there's no way they really exist.
Well, at this time, they probably had some stones that they had in a ark.
No.
Maybe? No? This is all just made up?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. From thence they journeyed unto Gudgoda, and from Gudgoda to Jotbath, a land of rivers and waters. At that time the Lord separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord, to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren. The Lord is his inheritance, according as the Lord thy God promised him. And I stayed in the mount, according to the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. And the Lord hearkened unto me at that time also, and the Lord would not destroy thee. And the Lord said unto me,
Arise, take thy journey before the people, that they may go in and possess the land which I swear unto their fathers to give unto them.
And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is the Lord thy God, the Lord also with all that therein is. Is that the first mention of heaven?
I think so.
I mean, I know we had Jacob's ladder where the angels were going up and down. Maybe that was the first mention of heaven, but it hasn't really mentioned it since then. Interesting. Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked.
Huh.
Now that's a phrase.
Yeah.
Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked.
Okay.
What does that mean?
So
it's like weird. That is a weird mental image. I didn't know my heart had foreskin.
Okay, read it again.
It says, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked.
I don't know.
There's like some like big symbology of circumcision that I don't understand.
No.
I don't think I ever will. And I don't really want to know.
Maybe they're like trying to say like open your heart.
There's a lot less gross ways to say that.
There's a positive way here to say if you can open your heart and
do what I say.
Yeah. Then you won't be stiff-necked, so you'd be able to like look around you and be aware of other people around you or other problems or things around you that need help or attention.
It's just you don't usually use genitalia as a metaphor for
exactly
for like lips or your heart. Well, that's the Bible for you.
What are you gonna do?
For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and terrible, which regardeth not persons nor taketh reward. I think like if you're like that fucking badass and mighty, you don't really need to be told
no
over and over again how great you are. He doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger, in giving him food and raiment. Have you seen God do any of these things?
No.
In any of these stories we've read so far?
No.
Neither have I. I mean, it's nice that he's mentioning some good things. Like, I agree. Like, You should take care of, the widow. Yes, if someone, like in this time, I'm sure like that means that they can no longer support themselves because I'm sure they're completely dependent on their husband, whatever the male leader of the tribe.
Yeah.
Or their unit in the tribe. So, yes, you should take care of those who can't take care of themselves. Loveth the stranger. Love that.
Love that.
Giving him food and raiment.
Means don't attack random cities you come across?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
You would think so.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that has been contradicted a number of times here. More evidence of the whole rules for thee and not for me.
Yeah.
Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave and swear by his name. He is thy praise, and he is thy God that hath done for thee these great and terrible things, which thine eyes have seen. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons, and now the Lord thy God hath made thee as the stars of heaven for multitude. So, I mean, I'm glad we got a couple good things. Like, we didn't start this podcast to just, like, shit all over religion, necessarily.
No.
The point is to learn something by reading the Bible,
absolutely.
Right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just not our fault that, like, most of the book is shit.
I didn't write it.
Just filled with immoralities, but, like, at least when we come across nice things, I think we should call them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Chapter 11. What? I'm attracting Christian listeners here. We welcome all types. I'd prefer to have some Christian listeners.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because maybe we could deprogram them from their supernatural obsessions.
I don't think that word is going to work.
Or at least, like, break them of, like, some kind of, like, strange adherence to, like, a...
At least break them of taking themselves so seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't take myself so seriously. I'm a ding-dong. Chapter 11. Therefore thou shalt love the Lord thy God, and keep his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments always. And know ye this day, for I speak not with your children, which have not known, and which have not seen the chastisement of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm, and his miracles, and his acts which he did in the midst of Egypt unto Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and unto all his land. And what he did unto the army of Egypt, unto their horses, and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursued after you, and how the Lord hath destroyed them unto this day.
Ooh, what do you think's up with the Egyptians to this day?
I don't know. They're just going about their business, like building pyramids and shit.
Yeah. You think that's what they're doing right now?
Doing their cool dances with their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's like historical record. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the Egyptians are doing at this time. Ramses the second?
No clue.
Wasn't he the guy?
No clue. Although I would like to point out that a lot of the miracles that Jesus did, where he made Moses like.
We haven't got to Jesus yet.
Or I mean, that God did.
Yeah.
Where he had Jacob, where Jacob was like doing magic tricks or whatever. Do you remember this part? He was like.
You mean Moses? When Moses went to the Pharaoh and was doing
Jacob?
No, Jacob was Israel. Jacob had all the kids. He had Joseph with the multicolored dream coat.
Joseph.
And
Wasn't
Gad
Joseph
and Dan and all them.
Who went to the pharaohs and was like doing all these magic tricks?
That was Moses.
That was Moses?
Yeah, he made his walk and...
I thought it was the multicolored dream coat guy.
No, it was definitely Moses. No, multicolored dream coat guy got thrown in prison and he had dreams.
But I
that
thought he was
everybody's
like
going to get
winning them over
destroyed.
because at some point they all loved him.
Yeah, they loved him. Yeah, but it wasn't because he was doing magic. It was because he like predicted the droughts or whatever,
well,
and told them to store their grains and corn.
When Moses was doing magic tricks,
yes,
all their priests could do the exact same magic tricks.
Yes, yeah.
Or the Egyptian people.
Yeah, he would like turn his rod into a snake, and then everybody else would be like, "Shut up, Moses. We all can turn our rods into snakes. We can all turn our drinking water into blood."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, God wasn't so impressive there.
That's true. Good point. And what he did unto you in the wilderness until ye came into this place, and what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and their tents, and all the substance that was in their possession in the midst of all Israel. Yeah, that was lame.
Mm-hmm.
But your eyes have seen all the great acts of the Lord which he did. Therefore ye shall keep all the commandments which I command you this day, and ye may be strong, and go in and possess the land whither ye go to possess it, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, to give unto them and to their seed a land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land whither thou goest in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt from whence ye came out, where thou sowedst thy seed, and wateredst it with thy foot as a garden of herbs. But the land whither ye go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven. Drinketh water.
There's heaven again.
A land which the Lord thy God careth for. The eyes of the Lord thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year. And it come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day, to love the Lord your God, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you the rain of your land in his due season, the first rain of the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn, and thy wine, and thine oil. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, and thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods, and worship them. And then the Lord's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and
Wait,
that the...
What happened? What was the turn there?
I don't know. Like, why is he mad all of a sudden? I don't know. I guess he says, take heed of yourselves that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside. And if you turn aside and worship other gods, that's when he's going to fuck you up.
Okay.
So this is interesting, though, when it goes over all of this, like when God's nice to you, he will rain and he will bring in your crops. I mean, he's just a storm god.
Yeah.
Like, he's a weather god.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was actually mentioned on a recent Cosmic Skeptic episode that was really interesting, where he was talking to some biblical scholar about like the earliest formations of Yahweh, of this god, and that, yeah, he was a storm god, and then he got like mixed up with all the other different Canaanite gods of the area, like Baal and all them. And there's another one, I forget his name, like El or something, who was like the fatherly god, like like the father from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And they all kind of got mixed up and like reinterpreted, and I don't know, it was pretty interesting.
I mean, this all just, I guess in my brain, the best way I can think of it is with like Greek mythology.
Yeah. Yeah, Zeus.
Yeah, like, because you have all your different gods, and then you got your big boss god, Zeus.
Yeah.
And if it gets years and years and years down the line and people kind of lose the thread of the story, you could just mix them all up together and make one Zeus god, and now he's the one god. Is that what happened here?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what happened. Like, it became I don't know how to put it. for some reason it became super important that there only be one God. Like they believed in other gods, but you just weren't supposed to worship them. You're supposed to just worship this one. And I don't know if that had to do with...
Why would they care?
I don't know.
That's weird. Yeah, because I guess that's why, like, you can't have any idols of anything else, because then it could, make a chance of you.
Yeah, I don't know why it would matter that it has to be the same God that you pray to for, I don't know, warfare as for rain.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure there's information out there.
Yeah, I should have paid more closer attention to that podcast I was listening to. And then the Lord's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, and lest ye perish quickly from off the good land which the Lord giveth you. Therefore ye shall lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house, and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, which the days of your children in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth.
So we have this verse here to blame for all the people who have this house believes in Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Signs.
Yeah. That's like a common thing here. Like, I don't know if it's everywhere, but it's definitely in the South where you got to put your little cult signaling in-group signs up where you're like, he is risen. Just real big on your front door.
You got your little fish on your mailbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your house numbers have a cross.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you to do them, and love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, then will the Lord drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations, and mightier than yourselves. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, and even unto the uttermost sea shall your coast be. Ooh. So yeah, that's definitely where the river to the sea chant comes from. Do you know about that?
No.
It's like that's what the anti-Israeli protesters chant.
Okay,
From the river to the sea we shall be
on...
free, meaning basically like...
I saw that on a news today and I was so confused about what that was.
It's basically like the land that they're fighting over, like that's Israel, like in Palestine. And, both sides, like, obviously think they have a claim to the land and they can't. They got to have their ethno-state.
Yeah.
Like, be the one ruling place. But, yeah, I was interested because some people think that that's a anti-Semitic chant, basically that they think it should be wiped out. Israel should be wiped out, and that's what it means. Others
and
would
they're
just say...
because they're just taking this here and, like, making almost a joke out of it.
I mean, it must be a common phrase. I mean, I've never heard it until this recent blow-up conflict. That's when I first heard people shouting about it. But so when it shows up here, it's like, whoa, there it is.
Read it there again.
It says, every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea shall your coast be. So it's the same thing as Manifest Destiny.
Yeah.
That we did here, where the Europeans, actually not we, I wasn't part of it. I don't believe in blaming.
Okay, calm down.
Okay, that's stupid. But when the Europeans came and settled in America and were like, God says we should have all of it, all the way to the Pacific Ocean.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's that before I connected and remembered, like, oh yeah, I've been seeing that in news articles and have been wondering why people are chanting that.
Mm-hmm.
When you first read that passage, I was thinking like, that is what gave people when they came to America, or Europeans when they came to America, that's what gave them the idea that you can just take whatever you want. Whatever your feet land on, you can take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
There shall no man be able to stand before you, for the Lord your God shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he hath said unto you. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day, and a curse if ye will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods which ye have not known. And it shall come to pass, when the Lord thy God hath brought thee in unto the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side Jordan, by the way, where the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the campaign over against Gilgal, beside the plains of Moreh? Now it's just really sounding like Tolkien. For ye shall pass over Jordan, and go in to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you, and ye shall possess it, and dwell therein. And ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. What do you think?
I don't know.
Chapter 12. These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land which the Lord God of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it. I've got like some notes.
Oh, I was wondering what you were having over there.
I wrote a couple like little questions like to ask you throughout, like just so I could like keep track and try to have something interesting to talk about. Sometimes I feel like when I'm reading, I'm just like reading, and then I'm like have no thoughts come into my head.
Same. Like, I don't know, I'm supposed to think about that.
Yeah, it's just like, this is stupid. All right, moving on. Okay, so while we're talking about conquering other lands and current events and stuff, like outside of that, like what's your opinion on kind of the religious rhetoric that's going around right now? To me, it seems to be getting like much more violent.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, I don't know if you knew this, but like I took like a long time ago, I made like a little short clip about from the podcast, put some AI art to it. It was like about the altar that we just read about. And I said, oh, God is like immediately breaking his own commandments and like making graven images. Well, yesterday I moved it from Instagram over to YouTube, put on YouTube Shorts. I got like 500 views like immediately. Yeah, and somebody already commented being like, play with the fire, you're going to find out. You just wait and see. Like just like veiled threats like immediately. Just like, Jesus. Like I thought Christianity was supposed to be like the peaceful, like that's, I mean, maybe it's always been that way. I don't know. Like, I mean, we know that it's always been violent and there's always been like religious wars and stuff, but just like the rhetoric, like in the last few years seems to have gotten like real menacing.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been necessarily the peaceful religion, but just but it's definitely,
I mean, it's not like their main prophet would like wandered around the desert preaching peace and love.
Yeah.
Why would they follow that?
It's gotten more aggressive.
For sure. Like, absolutely.
And not just like, it's gotten more in your face, and not only are we going to talk to you about it, but you're going to follow our rules too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just find it really weird because it's not like we're reading the Bible and being like, let's go get him. Let's get a Christian and be mean to him.
Yeah.
But that's what I feel from the other side. It's like anytime anybody says anything, like, and it's not just Christians, it's all religions. They just
Well, and
they're mean.
In actuality, if you look at the numbers, their numbers are going down. The number of people who identify with being religious or is going down. The number of people who are religious who believe in the church is going down. Like, there are still a lot of people who find themselves to be religious. They believe in God. They believe in Jesus. But they're kind of seeing the church as kind of a scam, and they're not. They're pulling themselves away from it. And
That's promising.
Yeah. So I think the aggressive pushback that we're seeing now is like they're seeing their numbers dwindle and they're freaking out, you know.
That's a good theory. I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
It's scary. Well, yeah, and then they're like being put on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Passing laws that affect everybody else that don't follow their wacko religions.
Mm-hmm. That's the worst part.
It's definitely
all the
worst
judges
part.
and not just the Supreme Court judges, all the local judges and state level judges. That's the hard part.
I mean, or just regular people. Like, how would you like to have a jury of your quote unquote peers that have a bunch of nonsense religious beliefs and are judging your actions by the supernatural?
Mm-hmm. Or there's a guy in Texas. He is a religious, like super. He doesn't like to call himself a Christian nationalist, but he definitely is. He is like he owns like oil. Tim Dunn. Have you heard of him?
No, never
You'll
heard
have
of
to
him.
look into him. He's
Probably won't.
probably. He's like an oil businessman in Texas, and he is.
Is he a tycoon?
Yeah, pretty much. And he's just doing everything he can to, you know, put all the people he wants in office, and you know, he's just got all the money and all the connections. So,
Fuck.
It's frustrating.
That is frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't feel like there's much you can do about it either. Like, I guess you can
vote.
You can vote, or I guess you can go and campaign and like.
Yeah. You could run for city council yourself, you know, or.
I don't know. I'd like to run for city council, but I don't know if I could keep a straight face the whole time.
Oh, David. Oh, David. Sorry.
People come in like all pissed off because the library made their kid gay. They want to ban a children's book. I don't know if I could do it.
I could visualize your smile right now. Oh, tell me more. Tell me how the library made your kid gay. Susan, get to the point.
I don't know. Maybe I will. Stay tuned. We'll see if Davy Hell makes city council. No, that's a good children's book. Davy Hell goes to Washington. Chapter 12. These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe and do in the land, which the Lord God of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it. All the days that ye live upon the earth, ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess served their gods, upon the high mountains, and upon the hills, and under every green tree. You know, Tolkien gets a lot of shit for describing nature and the environment, but it's a lot more interesting than this dude.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which I disagree. I enjoy a good scene setting.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Okay, it can't go as far as like the Scarlet Letter scene description. Like, don't give me that.
Yeah.
But Tolkien did it fantastically.
Yeah, I did. And ye shall overthrow. Oh, I had a funny. So we were chatting about the podcast on Vegan, of course, After Dark. But we were chatting about the podcast, Bible Dumb podcast, our podcast. And people were asking me about it, just like, you know, hey, what do you guys talk about or whatever? And I was like, well, you know, I told them, you know, we just read the Bible and bullshit and stuff. But it's also just secretly a Tolkien fanboy podcast. I'm just trying to work it in as much as I can. And ye shall overthrow their altars, and break their pillars, and burn their groves with fire, and ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods, and destroy the names of them out of that place. Ye shall not do so unto the Lord your God. But unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come.
He's making rules on where you can put his name?
I thought you were supposed to put his name everywhere.
That's what I thought. Is that not what he just said?
I don't know. But unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come.
I don't know.
And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and your tithes and heave offerings of your hand and your vows and your freewill offerings and the firstlings of your herds and of your flocks. And there ye shall eat before the Lord your God, and ye shall rejoice in all that ye put your hand unto, ye and your households, wherein the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. Ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes.
Ooh.
What?
Every man is right in his own eyes?
Yeah. Ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. That's some good wisdom. That's true. I guess everybody thinks that their way is, like, everybody walks around thinking they're the good guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even while doing horrible stuff.
Like Moses.
Like Moses, for sure. I don't know. Moses just seems straight up like a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's like a villain.
Definitely.
For ye are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which the Lord your God giveth you. But when ye go over Jordan and dwell in the land which the Lord your God giveth you to inherit, and when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that ye dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall ye bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which ye vow unto the Lord. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God, ye and your sons and your daughters, and your men servants and your maid servants, and the Levite that is within your gates, forasmuch as he hath no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest, but in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of thy tribes, where thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings. And there thou shalt do all that I command thee.
Okay, so we're setting up like boundaries on where the church, kind of like where the church can be and not.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You can't just like start, Billy Bob just can't like open a church in his own home. Like, no, it's got to be like the church downtown, you know?
Yeah.
Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I get.
Yeah, because they have to have a Levite, like in each community. Like if you think about like how many people this is, like there's about 1 million of them. Like we got the numbers earlier in the last chapter. There's hundreds of thousands of these people, and they're going to possess like this wide swath of territory. They've conquered city after city so far, and they haven't even made it to the Canaanites yet. So, there's going to be lots of communities, lots of different, towns where all these different tribes are living. And each one has to have a Levite.
For a minute, I was thinking, gosh, how are those people that were living in those towns that they conquered, how are they feeling? And are they really going to follow? Oh, yeah, they killed all of them.
They're dead. They're dead or they're manservants. They're dead or they're slaves. Yeah, I don't think they're feeling great.
No.
But yeah, I just find that interesting. Like, imagine like if like there was only like if there was a job was inherited by bloodline. Like you have to be a hell in order to go be like if all podcasters had to be hells of our family. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just strange. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's kind of not that long ago in history that kind of things were like that, right?
I guess so. I mean,
like even
you would
like
have
especially like medieval times, things were like that, right? And that's like kind of how like we got our names, like the Hells.
Tended the hell.
Tended the fires of hell.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're right. And then you would pass down whatever skills you had onto your generations. And I guess their skills were how to butcher a bunch of animals and sprinkle the blood everywhere around a temple.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates. Whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee, the unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck, and as of the hart. Well, there you go. That's where it says it.
Well, says what?
It says you can kill and eat flesh in all thy gates.
Oh. Read it again.
What a coincidence.
Oh, kind of spaced out.
That Carrie wanted to hear that part. Well, you got it. It sucks, but okay, the paragraph says, notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee. So whatever you want to eat, go for it.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's within your gate.
That's
what it said.
Yeah. It says you can kill and eat flesh in all thy gates.
So it's got to be within your gate.
I guess.
That means you can't go out and kill a pigeon.
I think it just means like wherever you live, it's fine. Do what you want to do. Or do you think it's like...
I feel like you're raising like the idea of like having like a pig pen, you know? You have your pigs that you feed and you grow and then you slaughter and kill and then you can eat those. I don't feel like that is you can go out and shoot a deer.
But
because the deer's not living within your gate. Am I taking it too literally?
I think gates in this context just means like where they live. I don't think it means like actual gates, like where they're keeping the animals. But then the second part of the sentence, like you were saying, like maybe it's just like raising pasture raised animals.
That's
like,
what it feels like to me.
Like they're herds of goats and oxen and stuff, and not like to go kill wild animals. But then this part says, the unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart. So isn't the the roebuck and the hart, aren't those deers? Isn't a hart like a female deer, and then a buck, maybe short for roebuck? I don't know. It's Google time.
I don't. Would they put that in there though?
I don't know, but it says it like whether you're clean or unclean, you may eat thereof.
All I'm getting is Robux.
What is that? What is Robux? Roblox?
It's the money you spend in Roblox. How do you spell Robux?
Roebuck.
Yeah, a male deer, a roebuck.
I didn't know that buck was short for roebuck. That's interesting. And then hart is female deer?
Probably. Oh no, a hart is a male red deer, synonymous with stag and used in contrast to the female hind.
Okay. I guess you can eat deer. I don't know. That's lame. Wish that wasn't in here. Only ye shall not eat the blood, ye shall pour it upon the earth as water. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, nor of thy wine, or of thy oil, or the firstlings of thy herds, or of thy flock, nor any of thy vows which thou vowest. Now thy free will offerings, or heave offering of thine hand.
We're getting a lot of rules there. Is this where we get kosher stuff?
So it says you can't eat your corn or your wine in your gates.
I don't know what the heck they mean by gates.
Does it mean they're like their homes?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. But thou must eat them before the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God in all that thou puttest thine hands into. So, okay, new idea. Maybe like in thy gates, maybe he's still talking about the church. Like you can't, because we know you can't drink wine in the church. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
So maybe like this, like, yes, you can eat in the church, but you can't like.
Because we already know after the boys got drunk and set fire to the church, there's no
alcohol.
There's no alcohol out in the
Right.
church.
Wild boys.
So yeah, no corn.
No corn. That's bullshit.
No corn on the cobs at your
no corn and no
your
wine.
Sunday brunches.
It's because it's probably all for the priests. And because it says, nor any of the offerings. Like all that shit's for the priests.
Oh yeah. Those boys like to eat.
So they
drink.
they bring all that stuff to the church for an offering. They're not supposed to eat it themselves. That's the donation to God. Or the Levites. And they're not supposed to be like partaking in any of that in there. You just bring it for them and then you leave.
Yeah.
Take heed to thyself that thou forsake not the Levite as long as thou livest upon the earth. When the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh. Thou mayest eat flesh, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. Hey.
That's whatever your soul lusts after. Go for it.
Yeah. It's weird because, like I said last time, like there's people that think like God didn't want you to eat flesh. Like that blue thread theory. But like there's so much in here of just like randomly killing turtle doves and
yeah.
Just like I don't think there's like yes, in the beginning he said eat the herb-bearing plants, but see, this is why you can't appeal to religious people with in their own religious texts because it's contradictory. They don't care about the contradictions. Like the people that like the vegans that want to read into the Bible that says, look, the Garden of Eden was vegan. They find that, and then everybody else who wants to eat whatever they lusteth after will just come to this term or this paragraph.
Yeah.
That's why religion sucks. You can just do with it whatever you want. In the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to put his name, there too, far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy herd and of thy flock, which the Lord hath given thee, as I have commanded thee. And thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. Even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so thou shalt eat them. Oh, it's the appeal to nature. Like, because like other creatures eat deer, you can eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Thou shalt not eat it, thou shalt pour it upon the earth as water.
I don't think that's how it works.
No.
I think the whole thing is life.
Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord. Only thy holy things which thou hast, and thy vows thou shalt take, and go unto the place which the Lord shall choose, and thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and the blood of thy sacrifices shall be poured out upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and thou shalt eat the flesh. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee forever, when thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of the Lord thy God. When the Lord thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land. Take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee. and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise.
Don't say that to yourself. The example of what the person may think is...
Yeah. Their internal dialogue is very strange. I think I will do likewise. Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord which he hateth have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. Whatever things soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto, nor diminish from it.
What was the part about the sons and daughters or whoever in the fire?
I guess they're still sacrificing their kids in the fires. They said it says, thou shalt not do unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord which he hateth have they done unto their gods.
This is like the other groups of people.
Yeah. So everything that I hate, they're doing, and they're even giving their sons and daughters to their gods by burning them in the fire.
Okay, but if they're giving, that's like cremation.
You think they're just burning their dead sons and daughters, or their alive sons and daughters?
I don't know.
I mean, there are some like weird religious sacrifices that have happened in lots of places. So yeah, maybe that is a practice that these people were doing, and they're saying like, no, don't do it.
There can't be that many people out there that were burning people alive.
Maybe. I mean, it can't be like everybody, but maybe they have like some weird ritual that they do. Like every month they got to burn somebody. Like there's lots of stuff like that. And even these, like obviously they were too. Like
they were
Abraham,
burning witches at the stake.
Yeah. Well, and Abraham too. Like when God asked him to sacrifice his son, he was like, okay.
Yeah.
No biggie. Like obviously like sacrifices were happening. Like human sacrifices, animal sacrifices. Like they were just killing shit.
Yeah.
Like this book was written like in a time when like this is before Socrates. This is before any form of ethics or philosophy or anything was trying to be put together. Like they're still just like randomly, I don't know, slaughtering people.
I need to like look at a timeline to see like where in human history this is supposed to have been taking place.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I've heard people like Christopher Hitchens always said like, you're taking your morality from a bunch of Bronze Age goat herders. But I think it's actually like before the Bronze Age. Like I've heard that too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. But none of it's making sense. We're going back and forth on everything.
Oh yeah, it contradicts itself constantly. But see, I think that's probably what this is probably just like people, like it's obviously Moses didn't rewrite everything he did 3 times. Like these books are obviously people like making their changes, going in and writing like, oh no, here's the real version of what Moses said.
Okay, but what ding dong is coming and making this King James
the ding dong heavy episode.
This King James version.
Right.
How is this the final copy?
Oh no, it's not. There's more copies. This is just like the main.
Okay.
Like this is the one that I think is like was like most popular when we were growing up.
Okay, sure. But someone put this together and thought it was fine to have all these chapters of Moses that's just the same thing and retold and tweaked. And why?
Well, I'm sure they don't even know which one is, like they're just transcribing this stuff. Like I'm sure they don't know which version is earliest even. Like Deuteronomy could come before Exodus. I mean, it's all just the same stuff.
Well, no, because they keep telling us, remember when I did this? Remember when I did that?
Yeah.
Remember when God spoke to you, even though he didn't, because you weren't allowed to hear his voice or you would die?
Yeah. Well, I guess in Deuteronomy means repeated, but, all these writings are, I don't know, they're just like, it's the telephone game. It's really all it is. It's just stuff that, started off as just like, man, I went and tripped out on some mushrooms I found on the side of this mountain. It felt like I was there for like 40 days and 40 nights. Everybody's like, whoa, I spoke to God.
Well, what did we learn in this episode?
Yeah, what did we learn?
Nothing.
Well, we learned that God says you can eat whatever the fuck you lusteth after.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. What else? From the river to the sea.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Manifest destiny. Go get it.
Go get whatever land you want. Eat whatever animals you want.
Yeah, just do whatever you want.
What great morals.
Yeah. I feel like I am completely brain dead. I'm dumb, much dumber than before we started reading today.
Me too.
But anyway, we'll close up the old Bible, look upon watercolor Jesus staring out into the heavens, and hope everybody has a great week. Until next time, stay dumb.
Stay dumb.
Bye.